because no one could have predicted when they got married at 24 how they were going to handle retirement or disability.
So in our modern world, is there some kind of genetic blueprint we can use to understand men and women, or is it kind of a free-for-all and you just have to get to know people?
There's probably a free-for-all. But men's brains were fashioned to fit the jobs they were given for eons, which was to kill animals and to kill enemies. And because of that, they had to detach, they had to suspend empathy, and they had to disengage from their softer, more feeling side. Now, this is exactly what women are complaining about today. Men detach. Why hasn't he texted me for 3 days? You know, they want more empathic dialogue from men. And why won't he tell me about his feelings? So meanwhile, you have women doing an almost opposite job, a very relational job where they were giving birth and nurturing and teaching kids and cooperating to go out in the wilds with women, with other women together. So their oxytocin went way up and it made them very relational. So men today feel that they're being criticized by women because they do not have the emotional sensitivity or the relational capacity that women tend to have. So a guy is complaining about that, and then he's saying, why doesn't she want more sex? And of course, his testosterone got 10 to 30 times higher than hers, so that his sex drive built. And so men today are 4 times more likely to believe that sex and emotional intimacy are the same thing.
You know, I think that women feel evaded and men feel invaded with their emotions, you know. And it comes, just like you say, from human evolution. And you've got to realize that that's the way they are. I will say, though, that I think we are going to come to understand that men are just as romantic as women and that women are just as sexual as men.
Yeah,
and there's a lot of good data now that men fall in love faster than women do. They fall in love more often. When they meet somebody who they are in love with, they want to introduce them to friends and family sooner. They want to move in sooner. Men tend to have more intimate conversations with their wives than women do with their husbands, because we have our intimate conversations with our girlfriends. So, but they're not expressive, and that's what we want, those words. Words are intimacy to women. I mean, for millions of years, we held that baby in front of our faces, cajoling it, reprimanding it, educated with words. Words are intimacy to us. And so we want the boys to be more verbal, and they're not that built for it.
The difference between men and women, and I look at this through an evolutionary lens. I look at everything in my practice through an evolutionary lens: diet, lifestyle, sleep, movement, and this can be said as well for men and women. And so what I see as the cause of major dis-ease and disease in the world is this evolutionary mismatch. So this idea that our body's physiology has evolved for a different environment than we're currently living in. And that mismatch can truly cause a lot of issues, and the same issues being the same issues between men and women. So men, yes, evolved with different jobs, with different capacities for different things than women did. And so really understanding that on a broader level can really help bring more peace and harmony into a relationship. That being said, I really, really believe in bioindividuality as well, and getting people to open up and meeting them on their own terms. So it's this constant line to walk between, there are differences between men and women, but there are differences between all human beings, and respecting those differences.
I think the dance, similar to what you were saying, the dance that we can discover reveals itself the longer we're with someone. And I think sometimes, even if we had all the answers, it's hard in day-to-day living in a relationship to have that matter. And when you're in relationship with someone, some days it's going to feel like you're stepping on each other's toes, and it's all a big problem. And I think the thing that helps in a long-term relationship is knowing that tomorrow you'll hit your stride. And we reveal ourselves over and over again, each and every day. And when we think about that perfect couple that, hits 50 or 75 years of marriage. For me, the thing that seems most striking about that is they did have to rediscover each other every single day, because no one could have predicted when they got married at 24 how they were going to handle retirement or disability. Every single milestone, the birth of a child, and then we expand that into grandchildren. So I think the more open you are, and it gets back to understanding yourself, and the more you're able to have that elasticity within yourself and embrace your own imperfections, you can then embrace someone else's, and you can allow for a dance and allow the person to have a sense of self in their own way and not be so rigid and molding that person into your own expectations.
So you heard it here first. Men and women definitely have different brains. They evolved differently. We had different roles we needed to play back in caveman times. But today, if you want to have an intimate relationship, get to know your partner so you can figure out what they need.